argument, rebuttal, and the same score applies. And after all of this, the judges will give us the numbers. If it adds up and is a tie, we'll get to the next level, which will be another 5 intense minutes of tiebreaker. Are we going to get to a tiebreaker today, you think?
Hopefully, I would love to see them coming to that point where it's a tie, because that becomes really finger biting.
No biting. Tension-filled moment.
Tension-filled moment. That's what we're expecting this afternoon. So, guys, I hope you're ready to give us that moment, where we'll be on the edge of our seats.
Yes, right? Yesterday we were kind of like on the edge with Adeoju Mazida and Miriam Ndanusa. Adeoju Mazida scaled through to the round of 8, the quarterfinal. Let's find out who would make it today. So we do have 2 amazing debaters with us here in the studio, and I think we're going to give them paper to see who gets the support and who gets to differ at the end of the day. Just help us write out something while I introduce them. So,
all right.
We have in the studio Paul Cindy. Paul Cindy is a 14-year-old and she's from Rebuttal School, Wuse 2, Abuja. Now, I know some of you say, didn't we hear Rebuttal School yesterday? Well, apparently the school is on fire. And we have a second representative from there, Paul Cindy, 14-year-old. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Paul Cindy. And we have Oma-Benedi Excel Umuolaojo, 14-year-old also, from Government Science Secondary School, Piakasa in Maitama, Abuja. You're welcome, Excel. So for those who are joining us online, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. YouTube is at Nigeria Info Abuja. Facebook is at Nigeria Info Abuja also. If the Facebook is giving you any challenge, go straight to YouTube and get to see Excel is the young man, while Cindy is, well,
also
the young lady.
Young lady, yes.
They're both 14. Okay, don't need to worry about it.
Don't worry about that. That will be fixed.
You want to hear yourself?
Okay, we'll get that fixed.
Okay, don't worry, we'll get it fixed. So let's hand out who would be supporting the motion that social media in Nigeria should be regulated, and who will beg to differ this afternoon in this important motion. Recall some time back, the government did make concerted effort to regulate social media. There was a clampdown on Twitter, and here we are with these young minds who are going to brilliantly argue for and against the need to regulate social media in Nigeria. So, let's
all right. So yesterday I started from my right. So this time around, I would like to start with the gentleman.
Okay.
To pick.
All right. Pick
what
one.
side you're on. Then to the young lady. So open and tell us what you picked.
Well, thankfully, I beg to differ.
Oh.
That's interesting. Okay. And
all right. Excel would be against this.
Yeah, I got support.
Support.
All right.
All right. So Cindy Paul supports the motion that social media in Nigeria should be regulated. Excel Oma-Benedi begs to differ. And this is where we get started, people. Are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
We will start right away, and we will start with the supporting motion, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's you, Cindy. Your time starts now.
Okay. In today's digital age, social media has become a force to be reckoned with, shaping communication, news consumption, and even our perception of reality. But with great power comes great responsibilities. So should these powerful platforms be subject to regulations? I say yes. Good afternoon, panel of judges, the moderators, the accurate timekeeper, my co-debater, and the esteemed audience. My name is Paul Cindy from Rebuttal Schools, Wuse 2, Abuja, and today I am going to be in support of the motion which says that social media should be regulated in Nigeria. First of all, I'd like to talk about the fact that regulation of social media in Nigeria can help to safeguard economic processes, such as elections. In Nigeria, foreign individuals can try to disrupt elections through spreading propaganda between voters through social media platforms. The government can help to combat this by monitoring the information that is entering the country, monitoring how it's being spread, and stopping it before it gets to too many people. Secondly, I like to talk about encouraging responsible usage. Social media is known as a breeding ground for negative things such as fraud, pornography, identity theft, scamming, hacking, and so many other things. But to make sure that citizens of Nigeria do not fall victims for these things, the Nigerian government can help to encourage responsible usage by putting in place guidelines to follow and consequences for the defaulters that do not follow these guidelines. By doing that, it will make sure that punishment of these defaulters is not just up to the social media companies, but also the government, which would make sure that it's being upheld better. The government can also help promote awareness between users to make sure that they understand the consequences. They are aware of what they are doing and always monitoring what exactly they are doing and if it's going to go against community guidelines. Thirdly, I like to talk about protecting user privacy. It's been known that security breaches have happened various of times on social media. Like for example, sometime last year, a shopping site called Temu was exposed for having way more information about its users than it's supposed to. So if a shopping app has this information, imagine what social media would have on us. Social media that we voluntarily put this information about us, where we are, what we like, who exactly we're talking to at the moment, what would these platforms have on us? The government can help promote user privacy by putting in place data protection policies, making sure that any information of the users are not entering into the wrong hands, and protecting the citizens if exactly they enter the wrong hands.
Time is up.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks to Cindy Paul there with that brilliant argument that she put forward. So, Cindy Paul supports the mission then that social media in Nigeria should be regulated. Now, this gentleman begs to differ and would see how convincing he is in his argument.
All right. Excel, your time starts now.
Evening, everyone. I agree to all the big dreamers out there and our wonderful listeners and our beautiful Nigerians just tuning in. As we all know, I'm Oma-Benedi Excel of Government Science Secondary School, Piakasa in Maitama, and I beg to differ on the topic that states that social media should be regulated in Nigeria. As we can all testify to, social media in Nigeria has played a significant role in the development of our country, from entertainment to news and very vast opportunities provided by these platforms. And as she said, it can be compromised by those sites. The users aren't responsible for whatever happens to them. Rather, I believe that the government should hold the companies and these platforms responsible. But social media regulation can infringe on the freedom of expression, which is a basic right that, as we all know, is a fundamental right of the human embodied in the Nigerian Constitution. It can be detrimental to the proper development, and infringing on this freedom can prevent people from expressing their opinions, expressing their thoughts, expressing their minds on pressing issues that affect our world of today. Secondly, it can be a very great economic decline to Nigeria because there are certain small and medium businesses who make money by being social media influencers, being ambassadors for various brands. And by regulating these, you can prevent these people from making their source of livelihood. Some of them may not have been to a classroom like we have the privilege of being. Some of them may not be opportunity to sit down in on this chair and talk about pressing issues some of them may not even have this voice we have. The only source of income, the only source of living, the only thing that keeps them going through the strive and tribe of our today is their phones and their social media platforms and the various platforms they use to spread information, spread their products, spread every basic thing about them and their source of livelihood. And by infringing on their right to their expression and by regulating this, the government can also abuse their power by silencing critics and also silencing the voice of citizens who have honest thoughts that can be accredited and be reviewed properly by the government. I believe that you may make a strong point that social media should be regulated and all of that. I'm not here to deny that. But I'm actually here to say that rather than regulate it, we should be able to hold those responsible, because any approach to social media regulation will need to balance the ability to protect the right of citizens and at the same time their right to freedom of expression, their innovation, and their creativity. Thank you.
Whoa. All right. You left us with about 5 seconds to go, but fair enough.
I feel like those who are listening are drawing closer to the radio, like, all right, these arguments are getting heads on. Brilliant at this point in time. 1 minute you're convinced you shouldn't support it, next minute you're confused. Should I, shouldn't I? They make brilliant argument, don't they? But that's the opening, the presentation here. And we're going to give another set, 3 minutes each, for rebuttal, where you will pick out argument from your opponent and give us a solid, convincing reason why that should not be the case. So are you ready for the rebuttal?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Cindy, your time starts now.
Okay, still standing on this existing protocol, my name remains Cindy Paul. My opponents made a lot of valuable points. I can agree with that, but I have some different opinions. Here are mine. My opponents mentioned that instead of regulation, we have to hold those responsible for whatever reason, like all the negative things that social media has done. But I have a question: who are we holding responsible? These social media platforms are from foreign people, like TikTok. TikTok is owned by a Chinese individual. Most of these social media platforms are owned by foreign people. So how exactly are we meant to hold these people responsible? Especially with the fact that most of the Nigerians cannot reach these people. How exactly are we to hold those responsible using the social media platforms that they own? Secondly, my opponents also talked about abuse of power. Okay, so. Yes, my opponent talked about abuse of power. Governments are to regulate these social media platforms, right? Regulation of these social media platforms is not just left to these social media platforms are not just left to the government, right? The goals of regulating social media platforms is by putting incentives on these companies to make sure that they are law-abiding and user-friendly. So they can try to abuse the power, but we also have to agree that, okay, the social media platforms can try and make sure that there's a balance of power between the government and the owners of these platforms, as it's not a government-owned business. So the argument of abuse of power, I don't necessarily agree with that. My opponents also mentioned that social media is a source of income for various Nigerian citizens, right? Yes, social media is a source of income for various Nigerian citizens. I can agree. There are a lot of Nigerian citizens that are banking on social media as their source of income, as their means of generating revenue, all those things. But there are algorithms that the Nigerian government would know not to mess with, because who exactly would let these Nigerian governments mess with? If they are to mess with it, they are to make it more balanced. If we have to talk about regulation, we have to make sure the government will also have to make sure that it's not just regulating the negative things, but making sure that the positive things that are already happening is spread more evenly. So I believe that instead of negatively affecting these people that are dependent on these social media platforms, it would help them positively as spreading algorithm and making it reach a lot more people. Make sure that their advertisements also reach more people than it already reaches, as we can agree that most of these things don't even reach the audience that is trying to reach. That is my
All right. Right on time.
Right on time, yes, indeed.
Right on the clock, Cindy. Cindy has given us a rebuttal.
Yes, indeed, she has. Sounds interesting.
Yes.
The moment is getting more tense.
And for those who be tuning in and thinking one is older than the other because you brought that argument, not like you should count. I want you to disabuse your mind from age when it comes to making brilliant debate points. All right, it's all about the confidence, the conviction that they come in with. And they're both 14-year-olds. Cindy's 14, Excel is 14, and they're going... they're going at it like they should this afternoon. So let's get to Excel. Oma-Benedi, your rebuttal.
Your time starts now.
As I believe you know, I am Oma-Benedi Excel, and I apologize, Miss Cindy, because I don't seem to be dancing to your rhythm, because you seem to have said that the government and the social media platforms should even out their responsibilities and the authority they have on their private businesses and all of that. But as you said, the online shopping platforms like Jumia, but you identified one, Temu, which seems to have had more information about its users than it should have. Well, I believe that rather than criticizing the users and infringing on their right to be free on the internet that they pay for most of the times, I think rather than focusing on the users, they should focus on those who are creating these platforms. Like you said, Temu, not the people who put on the information. Most of those who put their information on the online platforms have no idea what could have been done to them. Most of them have already been minded on the safety that they have gained from sites like Jumia, Gigi, which many Nigerians in our digital day and age rely on to easily carry out online marketing, sales, and many more of that. So, like you said, Temu had more information. It wasn't offered to them on the platter of God. They deliberately infringe on these people's right to privacy. So, rather than accusing the users of using these sites poorly, I think the government and the cybersecurity agencies that have been developed and instituted for ensure my safety and yours should rather put more pressure on these people and should properly scrutinize their businesses and their livelihoods. And you also said that pornography, fraud, and all of these can be spread online. Well, I believe that with these correct amount of safety protocols, one can protect themselves. Even if the government chooses to ignore them, we can protect ourselves from these individuals who prey on us, who rely on our ignorance to make their daily bread. And for my last rebuttal, I'd like to say that regulating social media won't change anything. The digital day and age is constantly growing at a rate that none of us could ever have fathomed. Like our grandparents in 1950 wouldn't have believed that you'd be able to use a mobile phone this effectively. You wouldn't believe that you'd be able to speak to your cousin in Canada or whatever. But this rapid development will make it seem futile to implement social media regulation, and to effectively implement regulation of social media, we'll need millions of people who are dedicated to these causes, and most of them may not even be interested in some of these. Like, I believe that you may not be into technology, you're a girl, no offense, I'm not sexist, but you're a lady. You, of course, you own a phone, you own a tablet, and all of that. And I believe that
Time is up.
Oh boy, did that just come up in the debate?
I heard you. I heard you, Excel.
Alrighty, Excel, it's fire for fire, shot fired. And it feels like, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, yes.
If you have to shoot, and don't talk. This one, they were shooting
I'm
with
liking
words.
every moment of this debate.
Indeed, and going by the comments.
Honestly.
A lot of people are like, boy, this is a hard fact debate from both sides. Love how they buttress their point eloquently. Simply Bright sent that on YouTube.
I'm telling
Go
you.
check out the comment there. People are thrilled with the argument. Awesome Kid says Emmanuel Essien at this point. Diana Ogon says the kids are... They are what they are.
Indeed.
Lucky we're not the judges because we don't know.
We
how
are
to do
not.
it.
Because already I'm getting swayed and I'm like, okay, how's this going to pan out? But pretty soon, you guys will get to know. Thank you for keeping in touch with us. And we have more comments on WhatsApp?
Yes, we'll just leave that out for now and get straight to the closing argument.
Okay.
So, Cindy and Excel, you have to give us your best shot here. It's a closing argument. And they're going to be rated on several criteria, like we spelled out, and you've been told before you came into the studio. So you have 3 minutes on the clock to give us your closing argument. Anything you think you left out in your presentation or rebuttal, this is the opportunity to do it now.
All right. We get your closing remarks, Cindy, starting now.
Okay, Thank you once again for giving me this platform to lend my voice to. As I mentioned earlier, social media should be regulated for the following reasons: safeguarding economic processes, encouraging responsible usage of the internet, and protecting user privacy. But I didn't talk about misinformation, because misinformation is rampant on social media. It happens all the time. We all know this. There's something and then we go and verify, and oh, it was fake. It happens all the time. The government can make sure that this information is being taken down if it's fake. Can also make sure that users understand that spreading your opinion is one thing, but taking it as a fact is another thing. Also, to address his rebuttal and his remarks, he said that I kind of put the blame on the users of Timo. I never once did that. In fact, I'm a bit offended by the fact that he's telling me that I put the blame. The blame is solely on the manufacturers of Temu for using this and taking advantage of this information. Now, if Temu was being regulated by the government, I have the question: do we believe that could have happened? Let's just ask ourselves: do we believe that it could have happened? Secondly, he said we can protect ourselves. I'm sorry, but that kind of sounded hypocritical, because he said I was kind of blaming the users of Temu. But then he's saying that, it's up to us to protect ourselves. Why should we protect ourselves when the government can do that job? Why should we have to protect ourselves when we can leave that to the government? And they can do that by regulating the social media, by regulating these social media platforms. In conclusion, I do believe that the regulation of these platforms would be in the best interest for not just the government, but us, the citizens, because we deserve a place where we can be free and live our lives without any type of worry. Thank you very much.
Interesting. Thank you, Cindy.
Abuja, tell me you are feeling the heat. In short, tell me via YouTube that you are feeling the intensity of the debate going on at this point in time. We're streaming live on YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. We need to get your feedback as how you're processing all of the argument put forward so far. You had the closing from our girl Cindy Porsche, 14-year-old from Rebuttal Schools, Wuse Zone 2 here in the Federal Capital. We would give Excel his time in a few seconds. But just to remind you, this is I Beg to Differ, the very first edition of it here in the Federal Capital. And the winner of this edition would go home with 1 million naira.
Indeed, and we're calling on people who want to partner with us to make this possible to please contact us, because our doors are wide open for sponsorship and any sort of support you want to lend. We have a very wide reach, so you don't have to be worried about your products getting that far wide reach. You'd want to simply contact us. Kimberly, you want to call the number again?
Oh, right, we'll get to that. 0803 700 3120. But to appreciate those who are already on board with us, press play NG. Press Pay NG. I mean, they've been there from Lagos, Port Harcourt, here in the Federal Capital. Press Pay NG has been part of it. We've got 3Js. It's a restaurant and hotel here in the Federal Capital, ensuring that we're as comfortable as we can get the debaters and all those who are going to be a part of it, thanks to 3Js. And to Call to Fly, it's a travel and tour company here in the Federal Capital to ensure that our debaters, as a matter of fact, we've been told 4 of them will be flying to Lagos for the national debate.
Interesting. So this is a round of applause to all our sponsors.
All right, then. We would give Oma-Benedi Excel 3 minutes for its closing.
All right, Oma-Benedi Excel, your time starts now.
As you all know, I'm Oma-Benedi Excel, and this is my closing argument. She said that I being hypocritical by saying that the users should defend themselves. Next thing I'm saying the government should defend the users. Well, heaven helps those who help themselves. All the Christian listeners out there would agree with me. You can't necessarily rely on the government. The government isn't all. You also have to be able to chip in just a little bit of effort to ensure that our tomorrow is better than our today. And by regulating the use of social media worldwide and in Nigeria, we can cut off global ties that can enable our world of today become better and better. it can also hinder the innovation and creativity of our youngsters, those big dreamers out there who believe that they can fly one day, who rely on social media for their source of creativity, to share their insights and create global communities, to share different interests. And I strongly believe that regulating social media, regulating our usage of it, regulating what we can put on it, regulating what can be given to us by social media would be a rather futile attempt to defend us, but rather it will impede our development and it will impede the progress. And hopefully, I believe that by the proper usage of social media, rather than the forced regulation of social media, we can create a positive difference between our world of our today, the world of our past, and more importantly, the world of our tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, interesting. Thank you so much. A round of applause, please. Hey.
So Abuja, you've heard from them. It's not just Abuja that is listening from all over the country and the world. I believe those who are tuned in on YouTube and listening to us online. You've heard from Cindy, you've heard from Excel, and they have given their argument. Cindy supported the motion that social media in Nigeria should be regulated. She's 14 from Rabeto School, we say, to Abuja. Oma-Benedi Excel is also a 14-year-old student from Government Science Secondary School, Piakasa in Maitama, and in begs to differ. They have given us their presentation, you've heard their rebuttal, and they closed it nicely. And we're giving the judges this tough job. But good thing they are impartial. Majid Tahiru, Irene Bangwell, to come up with the numbers as to how they performed.
You know, I don't envy the position of the judges right now. It must be a tough one for them this afternoon.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're capable, and we'll wait to see what the result looks like at the end of it all.
Yeah. You sang for God Foundation says, great mind indeed, and excellent presentation from both students there. Itodo Abba, the deacon is listening. That's good to know. And quite a lot of comments apparently have come in. People like their heads are full. Like, I love all the arguments. So we'll leave it to the judges to do that. But once again, let's remind you, this is day 2 of I Beg to Differ round of 16. It means that tomorrow we'd have more sets. Thursday would have more of them, and don't go away after this set is done, because we have 2 more to come back to back with more brilliant argument. I Beg to Differ Abuja edition is the very first one. Lagos has done 7, Port Harcourt 1, but the winners from here, as a matter of fact, those who get to the finals will all be headed to Lagos to slug it out with the guys in Lagos and the guys from Port Harcourt, and hopefully for a bigger prize.
Hopefully we get someone from Abuja coming tops at the end, but we can keep our fingers crossed. And
as a matter of fact, I'm at this moment, it's looking good.
Yes, with the quality of debaters we're having this afternoon, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you're wondering, or you're listening, you want to put a face to, the voices and the brilliant presentation of these kids, you can just simply go to our social media platform, Nigeria Info 95.1 Abuja on Facebook, and our YouTube page is Nigeria Info Abuja. You can just subscribe and watch live as these kids slug it out with each other on this platform.
All right, they're done slugging out for now. It's a rest for us to get to hear from the judges. We'll go on a quick break and give the judges time to put the maths together properly. There's numbers to be added. We'll get the sum total, the aggregate, and we'll decide who gets to the round of 8, which is the quarterfinal, and who gets to try again next year. But big thank you to PressPay NG for being a part of it. Thank you to 3J's Restaurant and Hotel in Abuja. Thanks to Call2Fly, a travels and tour company here in the Federal Capital, for being our partners on the very first edition of I Beg to Differ. Let's run for a break.
I Beg to Differ. Going back.
Abuja, get ready for I Beg to Differ debate.
I feel optimistic to lend my voice, especially at this challenging time when indiscipline in schools reigns supreme.
People, especially students, have used this opportunity as an excuse to become lazy.
The premium brand debate of young stars exclusively on Nigeria Info FM, Abuja.
Students are becoming over-reliant in AI tutoring systems.
The competition is here and they are ready for the showdown. The winner wins 1 million naira and participates in the grand finale with students from finalists around the country. Be part of the debate through sponsorship. Call John on 08037003120.
In conclusion, AI isn't all good or bad. It depends on how we use it.
Abuja, get ready for I Beg to Differ debate.
I feel optimistic to lend my voice, especially
Audio Jungle.
Let's talk about something.
Nigeria Info Abuja edition of
I Beg to Differ.
I Beg to Differ.
I Beg to Differ student debate is back on. It's opened. And
16 active, intelligent, brilliant debaters for the I Beg to Differ debates.
Back on track right now.
And you can be a part of it if you are a secondary school student. You are age
13 to 16.
You can compete for a grand prize of
1 million naira.
So registration is open right now. And
if you go to our site, you see the debate questions. You give 4 and against in terms of your argument.
once you do that, you'll be required to upload a 4 minutes audio recording of yourself, 2 minutes arguing in favor, and 2 minutes arguing against.
Don't forget that there will be amazing prizes that will come with the I Beg to Differ,
And the winner, aside from getting 1 million naira from here, will also participate in the national debate.
Get a chance to represent the FCT and be flown to Lagos to compete in the grand finale.
It's going to happen live in the studio. We're going to be streaming live, Facebook, YouTube.
If you want to be a sponsor, a good time to call as well.
Get in touch with us.
Just call Mr. John. He's our head of marketing, and he'll be glad to give you any information, any update concerning what categories you can sponsor.
An opportunity for you to sell yourself, to sell your company, to sell whatever products.
Number is 0803 700 3120. That's 0803 700 3120.
Cash in or capitalize on this opportunity to sponsor I Beg to Differ on Nigeria Info 95.1. I'll be glad to hear from you.
Let's get back to your reactions right now, shall we?
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
How it's going to end and who's going to pull out at the end of the day. It was an intense Mexican face-off.
Why is my heart beating, Kimberly? Why is my heart beating? Seriously. Like, I have a stake. I don't have a stake in this. I'm just, I don't know why my heart is beating.
You have a stake. You're the timekeeper.
Okay.
And you were looking at them present your arguments.
No, because both were brilliant, honestly, and it's just so amazing to have these two brilliant kids up and talking like this.
Fertilicious is on YouTube and says, brilliant kids.
Oh, yeah.
Double thumbs up to Cindy Paul, 14-year-old from Rebuttal Schools, Wuse 2, who supported the motion, and Oma-Benedi Excel Umuolaojo, 14-year-old from Government Science Secondary School, Piakasa in Maitama. And they argued for and against the motion that social media in Nigeria should be regulated. Well, we have the verdict.
Thank you. I like to douse the tension a bit. All right. So, Kim.
All right. Coming from our judges, Majid Dahiru, who is the chief judge, Irene Bangwell. We have here the aggregate for Cindy Paul Onyeka. Aggregate for presentation, she got 5. Aggregate for a rebuttal score, 3.5. Aggregate closing score, 5.7. Aggregate for her style of presentation, 16. In total, she got 30.2. Oma-Benedi Excel, aggregate presentation score, 4.5. Aggregate rebuttal score, 5.5. Is this 5 or 3?
5.
All right. Aggregate closing score, 6. And for his style of presentation, the aggregate is 17. In total, Oma-Benedi Excel got 33 points. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Oma-Benedi gets to the round of 8, the quarterfinal phase, by beating Cindy Paul with just 2.8. And
that was a very close shave.
It was a very close shave.
Very close shave.
I thought at one point we were going to have a tiebreaker.
I was also expecting a tie, you know.
But the judges, they are brilliant. Majid Dahiru and Irene Bangwell. And so Oma gets to the next round. Cindy Paul Onyeka. We'll see you in the next edition. I'm confident about that.
But just know you did brilliantly well.
You were amazing. You guys were on fire. I know the pressure that you came in with, given the fact that Miriam was from Rebuttal Schools yesterday, and she had all her points, but somehow the butterfly was blocking the gate and just couldn't come out.
Yeah.
You had a fantastic job. You made a good job of it, representing Rebuttal Schools today and clearing any doubts that we have about your school, that you guys are indeed premium material.
Honestly.
Excellent students.
Just keep at it. Keep at it. You have, we used to say the sky's the limit. No longer. I mean, it's beyond the skies. You know, that's your starting point. Indeed. We're so proud of you. Thank you so much for your contribution and to making, I beg to differ, a beautiful experience for so many people. You heard it very much. From the social media, everybody commented you, and you did well. Congratulations.
Indeed. All right. Just before we get to the next round of debaters, I think it's only fair. We'll take 2 calls. Is it okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right, 2 feedbacks quickly via telephone. 0700 951 0000, 0809 5974 869, 0809 9930 137.
Hello.
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 Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
My name is Edwin.
All right, welcome. Go ahead.
Please, before I make my observation, I would like to know if these scores are over what? Over 50, over 100, or over 40, so that we'll be able to place the performance effectively. Now, I think I want to appreciate these students that have done wonderfully well. Wonderfully well. They just reminded me in my own days when I was young. I think they should keep it up. I believe that over the time, most of them will take the mantle of leadership of this country, because from what they're saying, that tells you that they understand what leadership is all about. How to make this country move forward. They really have them at the back of their mind. I wish them good luck, and I hope Abeda will come up when the official is taking the medal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, then we'll take the second feedback via telephone, and that'll be it.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Dr. Zil from Lifetime.
All right, Dr. Zil, you're welcome.
Yeah, I love this, and in comparison to yesterday, today is heated and really we are enjoying the whole, and kudos to them. And they have already proven to us that age is just a number. If you know your point, you will be able to give it out. And both of them, I'm not really surprised because at the end of the day, the margin of the winner, it shows, the margin between them, it shows that really, they really did their best. Kudos. So I want to also commend Nigeria Info for this because actually why I've been following it keenly is because it's my jurisdiction and I love things like this. So, and I want them to know that they should keep up the good work. They will go places and they should keep preparing. Everything is about preparation and they've done well.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all for your input and your feedback. There are quite a number of them on YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja, where we're streaming live, and you got to see Paul, Cindy, Onyeka, and also got to see Oma-Benedi Excel slug it out on Abex Difa debate today. So this is where we wrap up the first round of Day 2 debate. We'd have others who are coming in on the heel of this particular one. And God help us, it is also going to be intense because I want to believe that they are gearing up to give us something even more than what we just experienced at the moment. Thanks to Press Pay Nigeria, thanks to 3J's Restaurant and Hotel here in the Federal Capital. Thank you to Call to Fly Travels and Tour for partnering with us on this. We truly appreciate you. Press Pay NG, we pay you, you pay. That's how it works. So we're going to break and we'll be back.
All right, we'll be right back after this quick break.
And now we are back on.
This is Nigeria Info.